Hi there, this is Heather Kate, spiritual coach for the creative soul at Peacock and Paisley, and I am here with a read for this week with oracle cards. They're like tarot cards, um, and this is a pay what you can. Um, this is my job. So, as you watch and find benefit with this, please consider donating. All of the donations are really appreciated, and I hope that they'll be returned to you multiplied times 10. Um, so let's see. This is a Saturday evening, so this will be for the coming week, and we'll just see which cards pop out, and we'll see what the messages are for the collective. I'm going to do a quick prayer, and then after a bit, after the card reading, there may be some healing. I may be giving you some healing tips. That's probably going to come out during the reading, though. It'll probably be mixed. Holy Divine, I ask that you guide us and protect us, whoever is watching this at whatever time and wherever they are, me included, and protect the space that I'm in so that only the most beneficial information comes through, and that we are protected as we let our guards down. And then after we are done, please raise those shields back up and heal us and seal us. So here we go, and I will ask for 3 cards, but there may be more that come out. We'll see what happens. And I don't shuffle. I like my cards to stay good. So I know you can't see me, but I don't really have the right setup for shuffling in a different way. So we'll just see what happens. This is what I always do. And what do we need to know right now? Ooh, way too many. Okay. Well. Ooh. Okay, let's try it. Okay, I meant for this to be a short reading, but there are... Okay. So buckle in. Here we go. The first one is transmute. And I know it's reversed for you. I'm not sure how to flip that. If it bugs you, you guys let me know in the comments, and next time I'll try to find out how to flip it around. So transmute, that's a scarab. They eat things. They're associated with death, and and if I'm remembering correctly, they see the sun. They plant their eggs in a ball of, we'll just say a ball of dung, and roll it. I think it's from east to west, and then somehow it ends up in the right place, and the eggs hatch. So if you feel like you're going through shit and you're getting rolled around, keep your eye on the prize, which is the sun will rise again, and we'll move forward. Okay. So here's our pack. I was hoping for like 3 cards. And so this is oh, holy moly. Okay. The Wildling, which is also about those are in case you can't, you may be listening to this on the podcast, so I'm going to describe it a little bit. And hopefully some captioning will come through. So that is 2 swords that are crossed, and they're in the midst of a kind of like a circle. But that's about fighting. Let me keep going, and then pull things together. Ooh, I don't usually, these cards don't come up too often. The Weaver, which refers to like the weaving of fate. There's 2 hands, and on each palm there's a star, which very much those are like healer hands. It's kind of like a representation of healing energy coming out of the hands. I'll tell you, I've actually been thinking about my grandmother who had healing hands, and I have healing hands. It wasn't something that we were trained in. I am actually trained as a Shambhala Reiki Master Healer teacher, but I had it before. I had it to begin with. And wow. So the other image on here is a snake that's eating its tail, and it is so it's kind of like symbolic of a circle of life in a sense. And snakes have long had, going way back, the meaning of wisdom, and they lay eggs. They lay eggs in a sense. Some snakes give birth to live little baby snakes, and some snakes lay eggs. I'm not a herpetologist. I don't know the correct terminology for that. Again, there's also a sword in this. Okay, and then the another again on the hilt. I don't know. There's of the sword there is an eye, and it's sort of similar to the Eye of Horus, which was as a Greek symbol. You're probably familiar with it. It looks like what I consider like a Cleopatra eye, very heavily made up eye with like a lot of eye, and then here's an eye again in the center of the sun on the transmute card. So what the Eye of Horus is actually referring to is that we have another like eye. So this is where our third eye is. This is this is another chakra center here. We have a ton. So people usually think of chakras as the seven. There's like 7 rainbow colors that are commonly. Those are the ones that people usually talk about, but there are actually tons more than that. There are energy centers in the center of your palm. And when they get activated, it can feel like they're spinning like a dessert plate. Ask me how I know. So this Eye of Horus is actually exactly the same as something we have inside our brain. I suppose it shouldn't be too surprising since the Egyptians used to do mummification and they took the body all apart. They probably saw this. Actually visually saw it when they're with their own eyes when they were. I don't know. I don't know that part, but I do think it's absolutely fascinating. That eye is sort of like an old unused eye that actually has the capability of seeing, except that it's like not activated. It's amazing. I don't have enough information to share this accurately with you, but so I apologize. If you are interested, definitely drop me a line down below in the comments, and I will do more research to find out so that I can give you a better explanation. But I think it's pretty fascinating that is coming up. Okay, so back on the Weaver, there is also so the end of the sword where you would want to just past where you would want to put your hand is like a really pointy part that almost looks like a spear. I have a hard time imagining that that's a safe thing on a sword, because I would think you would get poked yourself, but there it is. I'm going to work on interpreting this as we go through the cards. And up above that is something that looks like a crescent moon, except that it's like in the wrong direction. So, okay, so we're holding all those things together. So the Weaver, traditionally weaving fate. Okay, the next card is Connect to Heart, and there's an image of 2 dogs' heads, which goes back to, is it Cerberus? That's not in the meaning of this card in this deck, but that's what I always think of. There's a 2-headed dog in mythology. Again, that's way in the Wayback Machine for me. I'll have to look that up. The meaning of this card, and there's a moon. Also there's other and there's a plant and crystals in there, but Connect to Heart, the core meaning of this card in this deck is about it's talking about letting your guard down, as for instance rescue dogs or dogs who've been abused. This deck talks about dogs being able to come back and heal quickly and reopen up again to love. But I have a slightly different take on that. I'm somebody who's been hurt in love badly. And I also have a rescue dog. And then I've also had other rescue dogs. Yes, they're amazing. Animals are amazing and loving and generally not fucked up the way people are. However, I disagree slightly. If you ever get this is the Threads of Fate, Rose Gold edition. If you ever get this deck, I disagree with it a little bit. I do think that it's important to sense carefully who and what you're dealing with, and if it's safe, and only if it's safe, then open up. So this may be encouraging you to be ready to open up to love or to relationships in some way if you've been closed off a little bit. And I'm going to keep going because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more cards. The next card is Surrender. And again, the Eye. Somebody needs to know something about, and I don't know. So those of you who can't, who are just hearing this on the podcast, in the background, I have sort of like a bouquet of peacock tail feathers, which in themselves are kind of like eyes. So again, this is about seeing, knowing. It's a deep knowing, a deep perception that goes beyond what I'm just going to say, goes beyond the naked eye, goes beyond what you see on the surface. But it's also about power and owning your power. And I want to say shaking your tail feathers and showing your colors, your true colors, being who you really are. So the wife of Zeus, Hera or Hecate or Hecate, I'm not sure how you say it in Greek. She had a rough life with Zeus. Zeus was not an easy spouse. He fucked a lot of other women, caused a lot of problems because he did. And yet she continued to try to do good, and she was not always good. She was jealous. I don't blame her. But so this card, the Surrender card, the primary feature is the Eye. It's surrounded by what I see as like a laurel wreath or a winner, the prize. And again, this is going back to Greek traditions. Also interesting. Okay, surrender. Let things let things move forward the way they need to move forward. So that means that you may have to ride the wave. One of my favorite encouraging images is just stay on the board, stay on the surfboard. Some days you get to ride it pretty, and some days all you can do is just hang the fuck on and keep going. So in some senses, that's the element of surrender. Again, the Eye, reflect. This card is the reflect card, and the two birds that are on here are supposed to be swans. I love swans, peacocks and swans. Swans mate for life. They are profoundly dedicated, loyal, and loving to their family. And they are tender parents who really take care of their babies. And this card is about taking space, time, and peace to sit and perhaps float and let yourself think and feel. Let something bubble up that has been perhaps repressed. We repress things usually out of actual necessity to get through a period of time, whether that's a lifetime or whether that's, a day or a few years or many lifetimes. But sometimes people repress things because they don't have the skills to handle them, but usually it's about not having the safety or the inner resources, the energy to handle something. So now apparently is time. So sit float, tread water, let this come and bubble up, reflect on it, be safe. And water represents emotion, and in this case, deep emotion. So let that bubble up and let yourself see it and handle it. Okay, so we're going to find out more in the next cards. Reflect. That's reflect. The next one is the Explorer. This is amazing. There's another eye on this card. So at the top of the card, there's an eye. At the bottom of the card, there is a heart. In the middle, there is a compass. And, pointing the 4 directions. It's, in a sense, if you're used to the a classic tarot deck, this is sort of in a weird way a little bit similar to the Wheel of Fate, but it's really, this is about be ready. So explore your inner self, explore those depths, explore those things that come up, and be ready to explore whatever direction you go in. Wherever you're going next. But again, keeping your eye and that psychic sense eye. Okay. Next one, the Outlaw. That's not my personal style of boot, but I like the shit kicking sense in it. There's no that is a take no shit boot. It's not a shit kicker, it's a take no shit boot. On the boot is a small knife. This is the kind of boot that I imagine, women, certainly women still wear them, but they may have back in the Wild West. Women had a hard life. You basically had 2 choices to make money. You could get married. You could be a prostitute, which frankly sounded like a better idea than being married, because marriage at that point absolutely sucked. You could be an independent woman and make money as a prostitute. But that's a tough boot. There's some cactuses here, some cacti, and then some crystals. I'm kind of gonna skip the crystals, but they make me think of mountains, and traversing some tough rocky trails. But you can do it, and you've got the footwear, and you're gonna do it. All right, and the Sage, which is a term that I identify with. I often have a hard time figuring out what to call myself because, what is it that I do in this world? I see things that not everybody sees or notices, although everybody is psychic, everybody is capable. So to me, these wands look a little bit like sage, which is a traditional clearing tool. I just burn one small leaf of sage, and it helps to clear out spiritual gunk and energy that does not need to be hanging around. Negativity, somebody else's anger, and hanging off of it. But it's more like a wand. There's at the tip of it looks like there's a crystal again, but hanging off of it are teeth, which for this card are indicating knowledge, wisdom. And then there's a crescent moon up above. Surprisingly, there's no eye in this one. All right, so that is the end of the cards. I'm going to look at them for a second and pull this all together. So, transmute, be ready, lay your eggs, even if it's in shit, roll it around, get ready. If you feel like you're in shit, don't worry. That sun and the water are going to bake, and then you're going to come out. There's somebody who said they tried to bury us, but they forget that we are seeds. So you're going to grow. So be wild, be strong, fight. That's this card, fight. The Weaver. The phrase that comes to mind when I'm looking at this is, you can determine your fate. like that. Those are the healing hands. Again, the eye, the snake. Connect to heart. Be open. Allow yourself. So be cautious, but be ready to accept and give love when it appears in a good way. Surrender. Things are moving along. There is a big eye on this. The divine is looking out. Let the wave carry you forward. Reflect. Again, the eye. And swans are really powerful. They may look, pure and white and simple, but their wings, if they whack you with their wing, they can actually break your arm. So don't worry. Even if you are, picture yourself as a swan floating on a peaceful pond, and let whatever needs to come up and process it. The explorer. You're exploring your heart, and you're exploring that knowing. Kick some ass. Have fun. Be an outlaw. Determine your own fate. Be in charge of yourself, and don't let other people push you around. And the sage. There's wisdom and there's strength within you. This is a broad spectrum reading. I hope that it's hitting you well and helpfully. Tell me in the comments what really stood out for you and which part resonated for you. And please remember that this is a pay what you can, and I'll put a link for donating down in the info section. But I thank you for being here. This was a little bit longer than I expected. Okay, so a healing tip. Give me 2 seconds to connect with. So the thing that comes up for me is continually this eye. So work on opening and exercising and using. So you can, in the background, you can see the eyes of the peacock feathers. There's an eye on this card and on, okay, let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of the 9 cards, and actually sort of a little bit on 2 of the additional cards have these eyes. So 5 is a really good spiritual number. And work on healing your third eye, your ability with clairvoyance, with understanding, with perceiving, with knowledge, with information that's coming in. That is part of what I'm here to do, is help people actually to reconnect with their intuition. Everybody is psychic. Everybody has these abilities. Some people have them more than others. Some people are better at it than other people. It's just the way it is. Some people are Pavarotti. Some people are amazing musicians. Some people are amazing chefs. Some people are amazing painters. But everybody can sing. Everybody can cook. Even if you think you can't, you can. Everybody can paint. And everybody's birthright is their divine connection, which is your intuition. Your intuition connects you with the divine, connects you with yourself. Your self with a capital S, self, with your soul, and at the same time with the divine. It is your birthright. It is crucial. It is critical, and it is really important. So use that, develop it, and help yourself. It helps to make your life better, but also it is your way of communing with the divine. So I wish you all well. Peace, and blessings, everybody. Cheers.